Hi, everybody, and welcome, beautiful co-host and cosmic sister, Corinne Mooney, all the way from Arizona, and myself, Anne. And because this is pre-recorded, so I don't know where I'm going to be. But anyway, I'm somewhere on the globe. I'm not going to be out there, I promise. And welcome to Cosmic Sis-Stars Show with host Corinne and Anne, and we're going to talk about Unveiling the Sacred, a journey into the heart of the divine. And this is digging deep into ourselves. I know that because it's about so many important things. We are so honored that you are here. This space is a sanctuary place where the mystical meets the personal and the sacred whispers through every story, insight, and reflection. In each episode, we explore the deeper layers of spiritual awakening, divine remembrance, and the subtle energies that guide us home to ourselves. What does it mean to live from the heart of the divine? How do we recognize the sacred in everyday moments? And what ancient wisdom is ready to rise through us now? Whether you're just beginning your journey or you have walked this path for lifetimes, like most probably, this podcast is a gentle companion here to inspire, uplift, and remind you of the brilliance you carry within. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's begin. The sacred journey is already here. We're living it. And again, today we are talking about unveiling the sacred, a journey into the heart of the divine. You can find upcoming and past episodes at youtube.com/at angelplaceonearth/streams and angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. We have series which you can discover at angelplaceonearth.com/series cosmic guardians. You can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episode, read articles, and connect with Corinne and myself at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. Now, let's dive deep into today's topic.
Well, this is a place I like to play. I like to play in my sacred space, and my because that is when I can feel the divinity within myself. And as an infant or a child, we're full of the remembrance of where we came from. We still feel that joy and that love as we begin to explore our new surroundings with great enthusiasm. And we hold this until we become older and we start hearing that we should and shouldn't, and we could and we couldn't. And this gradually allows our memories of where we came from to fade. But we can reconnect with this. Even with the new rules and the new phases and the new ways to express ourselves, later in life, we began to remember. We remember a time when we loved effortlessly, where we were feeling the connection to something beyond our words, and that was the center of our soul and not just a faint memory. So what do you think about that?
That is absolutely beautiful. And it's for me, it's so true. It's a very foundational truth. Because when we are born here and when we come into this world, some of us, and I know I'm going to make a joke now, like always, right? I know that I took a peek and I said, oh, I don't know if I'm going to come out. I'm waiting a little bit longer, as long as I can in here, because it's cozy before coming out and everything is going to start, right? But actually, I feel personally that I was very fortunate because I basically grew up with my great grandmother, and I loved her. And she was born in the 1800s, late 1800s.
Wow.
Isn't that a bliss, right? But I come from a very, very modern family, very awakened, very mindful, but also not religious in any kind, right? So I had that foundation, and I think I chose. I know that I have a great connection with my great grandmother, so I'm very thankful to her for it. And of course, my other family did their very best as well. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But I think she gave me and my grandfather, which was not really my grandfather, but he was living together with my great grandmother. So very modern family. They didn't
Ooh.
do much those days. Yeah. And they lived together for 40 some years.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience coming into the world. Um, I wasn't supposed to live after 2 weeks, and periodically through my life, I had other exits that I could have taken. However, there was something within me that said, "Well, you're here. You might as well just put your boots on the ground and see what it's going to be like." Um, and where we differ is, I had a family where my grandmother and my great grandmother were very staunch in their religion, not belief, their religion. And uh, fortunately, my mother and my father were, they weren't spiritual as much as they weren't dogmatic religious. So they give me a little bit of room to kind of be myself, so to speak. And it took me a while to kind of reconnect with who I was. Although when I look back on my life, there are many times that I realize, unbeknownst to me, I was going into that sacred space. I was connecting to the divine because that is what I came here to do. And it got me through a lot of tough situations without me putting a name on it, that I was, you know, I just always knew I was really different.
Yeah, well, that connects us again. Even if we had a little slightly different experiences, I always also knew because I was different.
Hmm.
And the environment helped me to grow my own abilities because I was kind of being accepted as I was.
Yeah.
A little bit later in my life, teenager, maybe that changed a little bit, but I had the foundation. And I actually moved out from my mom when I think I was 17 years of age.
Yeah, I did too.
And so, yeah, you did. And I started to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And you know, at the time, maybe it was a little bit challenging, but I'm grateful for each and every experience in my life because, you know, when we are wanting to come into our hearts and connect with the heart of the divine, there are no shortcuts. And
No.
because as species, and this is my perception, as human beings, we are a little bit convenient and want the easy way if we can. So if we don't experience something that's going to make us think, make choices, sense things, we're probably not going to do it, right? So I am grateful for everything, for everything. And you
Yes.
know, in the depth of our being, there lies a profound connection to the divine, a sacred bond that transcends the mundane and touches the eternal. This journey into the heart of the divine is not just a spiritual quest, it's a transformative pilgrimage that awakens the soul and illuminates the path to our true essence.
Yes. And I find that in the times when we are silent and we hear these faint murmurs of other times, of places, of contentment, of peace. And sometimes when we're being bounced around, we have that memory that there is a place where we can find solace and comfort. And then we begin to wake up and we yearn for that peace and that joy. And we have a sense that there's some mystical path that we might find. And if we just be still and be persistent, that we may find the path that will lead us back to the place we seek.
Yes, exactly. And my first real difficult challenge for me was when I was 10. That's when my great grandmother died. And a loss. And of course, I started questioning things, but it wasn't until maybe around my 20s when I lost my boyfriend, another loss, that I really said that there has to be a meaning to things. Why is this going on, right? What's happening? And I, from a very young age, I did see spirits. And one morning, I think I was around 5, 6 years of age. I don't remember exactly. I went out from the bedroom and I was living with my mom on the weekends. And then I was, because she worked shift work, she worked night shifts, right? So that's why I grew up with my great grandmother. But on the weekends, not every weekend, every 2 weekends, I think, I was with my mom. And I went through a hallway. We were living in a very old building, and we had the kitchen to the right and the living room to the left. And as I wanted to go to the kitchen, I think maybe I wanted to take a glass of water or something. And I saw a lady sleeping in the couch. And I was so scared that I ran into the bedroom and I locked the door with the key. And I told my mom, I could see her like she was really like a real person, but I didn't go into the living room. And I said, there's an old lady sleeping on our couch. And she said to me, there's no one there.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah. So, I did a few things. I started off seeking when I was 20, but I didn't pick and choose my conscious journey until the year 2000. Thus, I was 36 at that time. Yeah, it makes 36, yes. So sometimes it takes a while because we are so caught up in the world. We know that there's something out there or in here that we can connect, right? But
Yes.
we don't seek if we don't encounter something usually, right?
That's true. And we both are products of our environment. And we've mentioned this before, that we can only make choices and decisions from the information that we have at hand. And if we only have one version of what life is supposed to be like, it's not until we start having experiences that say life can be different, that we start saying, I've got the courage to break away from what everybody else does, to kind of adventure into seeing what's out there. And that feeling that's deep within us, that is bigger than us, it kind of allows us to maybe happen to meet somebody that's thinking that a little differently, and maybe a book, maybe something that kind of nudges us to break away from what we had, and bless what we had because it got us to where we were, but also welcome the fact that there's something inside of us that's coming alive, that's saying you are so much more. And
Yeah.
and listening to that frequency, that light memory. And every now and then you get a glimpse of what it was when we had that divine connection. And then we start teaching ourselves ways of feeling that connection more. And
Yeah,
there are people that sometimes seek that and they don't know that it's within. So they go without. They try drugs. They try um, going to see different shamans that are going to take them into an altered state, rather than realizing that you can become that altered state and have that connection without the help of synthetic drugs and rituals.
exactly. And I think one of the biggest challenges for us is that we can only see and experience what we think we already know. This means that to be able to expand, we need to find something. Someone says something, like you said, a book or something, that's going to nudge us to expand, because we need to expand our consciousness
Mm-hmm.
for us to be able to see something else, something different. And that is why the process, in my mind, is so it's wonderful, but it's also maybe challenging sometimes, because I can't really see and understand and perceive what I do not know what it is, right?
Exactly. I mean, there is a true documentation of when the Spaniards um, came to South America, and they were greeted by the Indians because it had been foretold that these people would come from that direction, and they were supposed to be revered. Unfortunately, my input. Um, However, when they showed up in these little rowboats, the um, the natives couldn't figure out where they came from. They just seemed to appear, like boom, they were there. And so a priest was with them because he could write, and he was documenting this. And they were trying to say, well, these are just small ships, but we came from the big ships that are sitting out on the horizon. And the natives looked and they saw nothing. That they had no way to perceive what was out there. And he said one of the shaman decided that he was just going to stare out there until he could figure out what was out there. And after looking and looking and looking and looking, the shapes of the ships came into view because he had no concept of something that big out there in the middle of the ocean. And when he realized that, yeah, they were out there, his knowledge was then able to go to the rest of them. And they all, oh, look, oh, like they just appeared. And this happens with people that see UFOs, and why 6 of them can see the UFOs and then the others don't, because in their mind they cannot conceive something beyond what they know. And I think our journey has been to remove the obstacles that keep us wearing blinders.
Yes, exactly. And and like you talked about before, there's an urge coming from within, because somehow when we listen to, ourselves from deep within, our higher self, you can call it our higher self, you can call it listening from the heart, knowing deep down that there's more to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a call to the divine, and each one of us have our own unique way, and sometimes it may be a whisper that's very quiet. Sometimes it may be something that feels like a shouting or scream, you know. And it's this call that invites us to step beyond the ordinary. And here's where guidance also comes in, right? So because we are always guided, and we need to understand that too. And that can be confusing because guidance doesn't speak in words like you and I are talking now.
No.
Guidance speaks in its own language, and it can be very subtle. It can be very something that calls our attention really immediately, right?
Hmm.
So it's a deep sea understanding our existence, where we are coming from, how things are playing out, what's going on, and humanity is actually still trying to figure out what's going on because, like everyone else, uh, no matter how much we have walked on this path, it's still a continuous journey. We need to expand all the time because we have been taught so many things. This is how that works. That's how that works. That's the universe. This is how that works. Religion, you name it. And we need to find our path through all of those things coming out on the other side. Does that make sense?
Very much so. Um, I mean, I as I traveled this path, first of all, I never intended to get on this path.
Me neither.
it kind of uh, slowly wrapped around my heart and said, "We got you. Just keep going." And eventually, I began to, as I after my divorce is when I was really able to step into this. And it started very innocently as becoming a massage therapist. And then I was introduced to energy work. And then after that, it really began to widen. It said, yes, you are very good at what you do. And I was a medical masseuse for 50 years. And but then when I became a Reiki master teacher and started understanding the subtle energies, and then having the Celestine prophecy dropped in my lap, and I'm going, okay. And then I read another book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And here's this seagull that's just living his life, doing what every other seagull is. Get up, go fight for the food, and then go eat, then lay eggs, and then go back and do this every day. But Jonathan began watching the other birds fly higher than seagulls could and go further. And he started practicing and, of course, receiving ridicule. And then magically, he was able to do it. And his journey kept going further and further. And he realized that we are not just here to find a living and then die. There's more. And I think with each introduction of, yes, there is more. There is more. You are capable. There is something that's going to give you that peace. And slowing down long enough to listen, and then allowing, when I did meet someone, to maybe investigate a little bit, not go wholeheartedly. This person has all the truth, because the truth is within.
And that's beautiful. And many of us, and we have probably been in that place too in the past, long ago. We are a product of our perception of ourselves. We
Mm-hmm.
are told what we are by this world, and we
Yes.
need to get out of that because we are not what we are told by the world. We are something very, very different. And that is the story with the eagle, right?
Yes.
The eagle was told that he or she was something, and They put a framework on what he could and couldn't do, but that's not
Exactly.
truth. That's not truth.
Yes.
Embarking on this journey, it requires courage,
Courage.
boldness, and an open heart. It's a path of discovery, discovering you, where we peel away the layers of our conditioned selves to reveal the pure essence within. This process often involves introspection, meditation, and a willingness to confront our deepest fears and desire. And that's where we feel a little bit uncomfortable.
That's right.
Through this inner work, we begin to uncover the divine spark that resides within us all. Because as souls, we are already perfect. And
Hmm.
like you love to say, perfectly imperfect. I love that.
Yes. Yes. And one other attribute that I find has been extremely helpful for me and probably for you is your stubbornness and my tenacity, because
Exactly.
we refused to just stop, because we came to a place where people said you can't go any further, and we said that's okay, you don't go any further, but I'm going to take one more step, and I'm going to take one more step, and I'm going to take one more step. And that does take determination and stubbornness and tenacity,
Yeah.
because there's something within us that is moving us into that divine. And when we hear the frequencies and feel the vibrations, it is coming from every cell within our body. It's not just, oh, I think I'm going to try that because Mary's trying it. No, it is a longing to be reconnected to what we are beginning to remember we had as a child.
Yes, exactly. And you made me remember a personal story. There is a lady, and I've seen her and her husband, Sandra and Marcus Ray. They came to Stockholm 2016, and that was a miracle too, because in 2 days I managed, she's famous worldwide, I managed to get a time to go and see them. And I had
Hmm.
what do they call? Breathing session with them, right?
Whoa.
But before that, I had a peculiar experience with breathing sessions. I went to a Swedish lady. I think she was actually almost done with a course in liberating breathing, right? And she couldn't get me to not laugh. And the more she said to me, "Don't laugh," the worse it got, because I was, kind of, when you are, oh, geez, I couldn't stop laughing. But I got to certain points with her where I could feel, when you are so relaxed that your body feels the waves. So it was perfectly imperfect, maybe, for her. She wasn't really happy with my progression, but I was. But I didn't go. I went 2, 3 times. And then I came to Sandra and Marcus Ray. And that was a totally different experience. And they said to me, but there's no wrong with laughing.
Yes. And we know the power of laughter. And laughter heals. We did a whole program on how laughter changes the DNA in our body, and can take a person that is in dire health situations, and by recharging the cells and putting a positive charge on the cells can heal. And this
Yes.
has been documented. And it's interesting because I was introduced to the art of laughing at one of the classes that I went to. We were encouraged to laugh, where we all laid down and we put our heads on somebody's stomach and we started laughing so we could feel the vibration and everything else. And Louise Hay, I love all of the stuff that she put out. But when I was going through my where am I going type situation, I found a tape that was nothing but laughter. These people had planned to have like a podcast that they were recording, and someone got the giggles and they couldn't stop. Well, they didn't realize that the recording was still on, and they laughed for almost an hour. And now, even at the school where I go and volunteer sometimes, you can actually take a class in laughter. So,
Wonderful.
what was a negative to one person that
Yeah.
hadn't yet seen the benefits of this, and the person that you finally got with said, that is the communication with spirit.
Yeah.
We-
I think that, the essence of these stories here are that when we get into too much control of something, instead of doing it in a free way, because we can't really do it wrong, but we
no,
need to do it in our own personal way. And maybe that was my way, but it definitely wasn't hers. And she was
that's,
not happy with me laughing all the time.
that's
And,
true.
at the end, because I am a happy person generally, and I laugh a lot, so I could really not stop. I was laughing for the full hour
Yes.
in there too.
I mean, there have been times, uh, my meditation group is not, om, 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 and then, get rid of the outside world and all that. It is very much being just in the open heart. And there have been a couple of occasions where before we started meditating, somebody would be saying something, and we would get into this conversation where we were just rolling on the floor with laughter. And half of the meditation time we were laughing. And instead of taking that as, oh, everything got interrupted, I'm not having my holy time and everything else, I would thank them for blessing us with the laughter, because we were now going into a meditation that was full of joy and embracing upon it. And laughter is a great subject, but laughter connects you with the divine
Yes, it
and
does.
connects you with the ethereal. When a baby laughs, the angels laugh. It's like a nonverbal communication. And finding the divine is not, everybody finds them differently, but you don't have to sit on a mountaintop in a loincloth, which wouldn't look good on me. But um, it is having that interconnection and
It is. It
and
is. And
remembering.
yeah, it's I think this journey calls upon us to be authentic, right? First of all,
Mhm.
and have courage, being bold, and being a little bit stubborn. It's very, very handy. Not giving up, not
Yes.
saying to yourself and putting up the framework, saying to yourself that, well, I can't do it because I have too many things that are blocking me. Well, if you say that, you already stated and put up the framework. So that's not going to be good for you. The journey into the heart of the divine is not confined by moments, like you said, on a mountaintop or something, of meditation or spiritual practice. It is woven into the fabric of our daily lives. You live it, it's a lifestyle. So you gradually come into an understanding of yourself, and life actually gets easier, right? By cultivating mindfulness and presence in this moment, we can transform ordinary moments into sacred experiences. And basically, we can experience miracles each and every day
Mhm.
if we pay attention to them, because they do happen all the time. Whether it's through acts of kindness, moments of gratitude, or simply being fully present with loved ones, we can infuse our lives with the divine. And I can also tell something that I've experienced almost every time I'm connecting to give um, spiritual advice to people calling me. So when I receive something, it's very often full of sometimes old-fashioned words. That's funny
Hmm.
somehow, because it shows that it's not something that I would say.
Yes.
And second, they have the most brilliant sense of humor on the other side. So they
Oh,
can
yeah.
show different things like pictures. It's fantastic. So we don't need to be, worshipping
Not at
in
all.
that sense the other side. No, we need to be authentic ourselves and talk to whoever is coming like a friend.
Yes. And I always say that I appreciate my ascended masters and everything else, but I do not worship them. I, and I think that's why I keep this communication between us, because I am not in this form of, oh, I can't do anything right. I'm a sinner. I'm a this. I meet them where they are, and I think that gives us a better communication of being able to live in that. And I have found that when we are presented with little miracles, these are signs from our divinity that, hey, we got your back even in little things. Like when you find a parking place that's convenient,
Yeah.
or when you have an occasion to, um, I went in and I was expecting to pay a fee, and I found out that I had a credit. And I mean, I've been going to this place for a very long time. So how out of last year did this show up on their records that I had a credit? And it was $5. It wasn't like a bazillion dollars, but to me, I I I said thank you, because it was a miracle. And I appreciate every little miracle, because it is the divine showing us that we are connected. That is the important thing, that we're still connected. And,
Yes,
it gives you reassurance.
it does. And the best approach, in my perspective, is to actually just follow. We don't need to run and jump and do big things. Sometimes we can feel that, okay, I received a few signs here, some guidance. I don't really connect the dots yet, but I'm chilled out and I'm peaceful, I'm relaxed, and I know that I'm going to see the next step. It's going to unfold itself, right?
Yes.
So we have to have patience. We have to have that confidence also. And we have to have, the stubbornness, because it comes extremely handy. But we need to pay attention. Where am I channeling my stubbornness?
Hmm.
What do I do with it? Right?
Yes. Yes. Um, One of my students who is embarking on the self mastery uh, course that I'm helping her with, and she posed a question to me. She said, I feel like I should quit the job I have and just pursue her spiritual path, which is working with sound and everything else. And she's in a new location. And I told her to just allow for the signs to give her an indication to not abruptly do one thing just to pursue the other thing. Find a balance where she could possibly, have that income coming in, and then on weekends and in the evenings pursue her other path. Well, she texted me the other day and she said she had an opportunity to interview with a different place and was accepted, and it will be part-time, which would allow her to be able to pursue her other. And she said, you were right. I just let it happen. And I said to her, I said, when you go with the flow and allow the energy to grow, I didn't say it that way. That just came out of my mouth right now. But when you allow that energy to be your guide and allow what is to be to reveal itself to itself. And she said, oh, that's what that means. And we all are in this path of discovery where we're given things and then we have to kind of decipher them.
Yeah, exactly. And intentions also are very, very important. It doesn't mean that we need to know all the details about something, but I have an urge to do something. I see a goal, I send out intentions, but intentions can also be, if I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to do to reach where I want to be, and searching for things, that may also be like an intention because I'm putting in my effort in there. So
That's right.
it shows. Sometimes there are small steps, other times we take bigger steps, right? But
That's
we
right.
are moving towards. And I think we said this multiple times before, but when we manifest things, when it's finally coming to us and we are there, it never looks like we were thinking in the beginning. It's usually way
I'm
it's
sorry.
usually way better, and we are not stopping the energy by restricting it with our fast ideas. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't apologize for laughing, but
No, 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 no.
you brought to mind um, how true that is, that we have no idea how the universe is going to manifest what we desire. And 10 years ago, I have always wanted to have a healing center and a place where I could teach. And I had great expectations of what I thought I wanted, but it wasn't manifesting. And my friend's husband is a contractor, and I'd seen some of the things he built. So I put on my bathroom window that Rocky, his name, was going to build me my castle, and I'd have all new furniture and all new furnishings. But I didn't have an address on there. And I had it up there, and I just left it. It was just I was inspired to write this. Okay, so I wrote it. And almost a year to the day, I was up with my friend, and we were in her cabin. I was teaching her meditation, and I get a call that my house is burned down. And so I come back to the house, and the walls are there, but the roof is now my floor. And my dogs got out, thank God. And I'm looking at this, and I'm going, whoa, now that's interesting. And I said to Rocky, who was already there waiting for us, I said, when you rebuild my house, I want you to leave the roof off so I can see the rain and the stars and everything else. And we laughed. And he did. A year later, my house was complete. And I realized that as I'm building this house, and I built it, my great room can hold 40 people. I built it as my healing center. And I never knew what Rocky's company name was. And then he asked if he could put a sign out there. His company name is Castle Builders.
Wow.
Now, did I go to the universe and say, hey, I need you to burn down my house and, so I can get all these and make it bigger? No, I said that I was going to receive this, and I let the universe figure out how. And they couldn't figure out how to get me moved to another location. So the best thing was to start all over. But this is what we're saying. When you live in the divine, when you are there and allowing, the universe works through you in
Yeah, it
different
does.
ways.
Yeah. I've manifested many, many things in my life too, and some things take a little bit longer time. Other things go very, very fast. Um, but I actually manifested a house in Greece,
Yes.
opposite from the land where I envisioned it in the first place.
Hmm.
But it's here,
Yes.
and it became way better than I was thinking. Of
Yes.
course, manifestation also means that we do take action for certain things when the timing is right for it, right? So when
Yes.
we are presented with something, now it's time to do this and this and this. But we can manifest anything, anything.
And this is where not being stubborn, saying, well, I wanted it here, I wanted it this way, and this isn't really my dream. And instead of saying, wow, what are the possibilities of being in this situation? And there again, that allowing, and always an attitude of gratitude. But divinity and living in the divine is living in that sacred space that just wraps around you and says, everything's okay.
Yeah. And there's a difference in manifesting things for yourself and things, you could say, or a situation for yourself. But there's a difference also if you try to manifest something for someone else
Hmm.
without their consent, because
Yeah.
that is really important. You cannot manifest a relationship with someone
No.
who doesn't want to be with you. It's not
Mm-mm.
going to happen. So you have to deal with it. You can't change someone else, right? Because we have free will, and that is manipulation and interfering in a way with people without their conscious consent. I call that something that sounds horrible, but it is
Yes,
horrible.
it is.
Spiritual rape. That's
It
what I call
is.
it.
It really is, because um, and that is one of the I don't use that particular term when I'm talking to my students, but it's the same thing. You cannot have you can have the intention that the energy is flowing into this person for their highest good. But if you
Yeah,
say, well, I want to fix their broken toe, and their broken toe is actually a symptom of something else, or you want to, get them with that person they want to, that's manipulation. That is not
yeah,
coming from heart. That's coming from ego. And
yeah,
and having the ability um, to step out of the way and to let the universe and the divinity be the guide, and then be grateful for that new experience, rather than having to, you know, be there making everything happen the way you think it is. Because believe me, what we conceive is not nearly as magnificent as what the divine can conceive.
exactly. And um, when you want or do something, you manipulate someone else's energy. Let's call it that.
Yes,
You claim it's the same as claiming that you know what's best for them.
exactly.
So you are violating their free will, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And this I find a lot when dealing with certain facets of society that are so intent on spreading their idea of a spiritual connection. And I can't associate with you because you don't think the same way I do. I can't I can't tolerate you. I'm going to actually kill you if you do not conform to my way of thinking. And that's all ego. There is no unconditional love. There is no divinity in that. And there is no sacred space in that.
No. Each and every time there is conditions connected to something, there's no love and nothing there.
No. And that's very, very much so in relationships, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it is. It is. I
So,
have to ask you something.
what?
Are you ready for the hot seat?
I just had a feeling that eventually those. Yeah, I was getting a little yeah, okay, what is she? I love it. I really, because you put me on the point, you make me think. And that is wonderful because a lot of times we just we resolve something and then maybe we don't go the rest of the resolution. And you come up and you start poking and go, "Oh, okay, let's think about that." Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. So, what does the sacred feel like in your everyday life?
Peace, freedom, contentment, um, no competition. It's as if I am effortlessly floating through life, and when a, a physical human situation comes up, I can resolve it in a way that we both have gained some insight. And I really, having now consciously been as daily as I can living in that uh, place of divinity and that place of sacredness. Um, the last 2 years, and I've been on this path 50 years, but the last 2 years, it is as if another brilliant door has opened. And even though everything is not as you would expect in your material world, where I live, it is so divine. It really is. So I, I'm very blessed.
And I'm very blessed too. And, for me, the sacred is, waking up in the morning, seeing the sun or seeing the rain. I love rain.
I do too.
I'm very compassionate about rain. I could actually go out and dance in the rain because I love it. I learned to love it. And, you know, bliss, joy, wonderful miracles that we can experience and see on a daily basis.
Yes.
It can be small things, big things. It doesn't need to be always life changing. Just tiny small things sometimes to be happy over, feeling gratitude um, for being here, even if it's challenging sometimes, but that's okay. I signed up for it.
Yes.
So, where have you experienced divine presence in unexpected moments? Here we go.
Um, so many that it's hard to think, but being able to be in that divine presence when my firstborn was born with heart problems and deformed hands, being able to have a sense that we were going to move through this. Um, the moment when he was 11 years old and he passed, I felt this overwhelming presence that everything was in its right place. Going through a divorce, going through not having enough to pay the bills. Each time that I've had a diverse situation, I have had this feeling that I was being held, and that it was part of an experience that was going to allow me to be able to better help the people when I got to another stage. So I guess um, I've even though I wasn't aware of the words, I was feeling the divine presence.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think, for me also, I've always known that whatever life throws at me today, what I'm experiencing, sometimes it can feel really, really deeply challenging, right? Um, that this is going to pass too. I know I'm going to make it. I'm coming
Yes,
out on the other side. That for me is divine presence too. Like something is holding you,
yes,
um, something is carrying you through challenges.
yeah. And it's not the people around you, but there it's a deeper knowing. And uh, I can remember times when I felt completely abandoned, and because I hadn't yet allowed that feeling to be in my consciousness. It was there; it was always there, but I was just like, yeah, I'm going to be. I've been having a bad day, and I, get on my pity pot. And but I have found in later years that no matter what adversity, I always have that reassurance that, hey, we got our arms around you. And it sounds sometimes when you're watching a movie and somebody says something to that effect, and it's the way they say it because they're not feeling it is like meaningless. But when you have actually learned how to experience it, it really does have a different feel. You
Yeah.
know?
I had kind of something like that I experienced last year when I broke my leg. That sounds like a horrible situation. But um what I experienced was that within 30 seconds I had a doctor that was walking on that path where I was going with a bicycle.
Yes.
And he came to me and he yelled at his parents. They were, I don't know, 50 meters away, also doctors, right? Three doctors. So my experience that time was that, okay, you messed up. You didn't go with your gut feeling and your intuition. You shouldn't have done this, but we have you.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and you really you just picked the cream of the crop. And yeah, so it's otherwise your stubbornness, you would have gotten up and tried to walk on that leg. so, so I am
Well,
very
I think not because I couldn't actually walk, but I would have crawled probably. Yeah.
you would have done something because you would have said, "Oh well, this is just heal by itself." So I'm glad they were there to say, "You aren't moving, lady, until we get somebody to come help you." Uh,
Yeah.
yes, it's beautiful when I think the most beautiful part is though when we start appreciating that this is part of reality and
Yeah.
not just going, well, that was a coincidence, it'll never happen again. But we realize that our life is full of this divine connection. And
Yeah, it
and
is.
yeah, it's yeah,
And a secret here, because the more we acknowledge it, the more we're going to see it.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
And
just
that's also
admiring.
beautiful because, yeah, go ahead.
No, but just taking the time to appreciate the beauty. Um, I mean, I like to be appreciated. Now, I know that creation doesn't sit around waiting for humans to go, oh, what a beautiful sunset. However, in my mind, I'm going to say, thank you for that sunset. Thank you for that rain that we just had in Arizona. 2 days of blessed, blessed rain. It's been so long since
Beautiful.
we actually saw rain. And yes, I too dance in the rain. It's like tradition, make chocolate chip cookies and dance in the rain. But in our attitudes of gratitude, it allows us to be more connected and to see more of the miracles that happen.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. And third question, what helps you stay connected to your inner truth and spiritual path? Good question.
Oh, it feels so good. it and that's the honest truth.
I'm too. I'm getting so.
And
Oh,
I knowing how I used to feel in doubt and confusion and everything else um, and the freedom, but it does.
oh.
Hey, you ask these questions, you come up with these questions, you're going to get the answer, my dear. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness.
I know. I need to gather myself. Oh my God.
Didn't expect that one, did you? Oh, my goodness. Oh, blessed laughter. Yeah. So how do you know? How would you answer that question? How do how do you feel when you stay connected?
Yeah, what helps me to stay connected, that I learned to not try to figure things out in advance, more than sometimes in this life. Of course, we need to do some planning and stuff, right? But I'm relaxed. Doesn't really matter. It's going to resolve itself if something is going to come up, and usually does.
Yes.
When I get into my mode of fighting it, resisting it, or trying to fix it, that's when it takes longer time. So
That's
yeah,
true.
I know.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm human. I like to feel good. You know, if
you
I
you made me cry of laughter here.
if you have a choice between butting your head against the wall and feeling good, hey, listen, I'm not stupid. I'll take the feel good.
So how do you honor the interconnectedness of all beings in your choices?
Oh,
Another good
okay,
one.
that's a good one. However, I think when you're coming from unconditional love, you're always seeking to inspire the people that you're around, not control, no control at all, but to give them words of encouragement, to say thank you to the janitor that just came out from cleaning the bathroom, to the person that changes your oil, to just show them an attitude of gratitude. And if they're having a bad day, allowing the words to come that are going to be of inspiration, and and being
Yeah.
able to see that smile reemerge in their face. And I think this is such a reward of staying in my connection, is that this is not me, the personality. This is the divine connection speaking through me to touch these souls. And and I get to participate. And to me, that's a blessing.
That's a blessing. Wonderful.
Yes.
What part of you is ready to be unveiled, embraced, and loved more deeply?
Man, my hot seat just went from lukewarm to flame. Um, you know what? I'm going to toss that back to you, sister.
Okay. I'm trying not to laugh while I answer.
Go ahead.
Well, I think that because I've come this far as I've come, I don't really need that to come from the outside. But I want to surround myself with people who are, you have an interaction with, and a very sacred interaction, like you, for
Mhm.
instance.
Yes.
And I don't feel that need for that confirmation. It doesn't mean that I have an attitude. I don't, but I kind of give it to myself. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Yes. And the one that you said here, loved more deeply. Uh, I think like you, because we're working so much with energy, and we stay connected as most humanly we can with the energy, and we learn how to motivate it ourselves, that being loved deeply is something that I know that I feel all the time. And it comes from the universal love. It comes from nature. It comes from all the things around me that are put there to show me that I am loved. And
Yeah,
it so supersedes just human love, which is beautiful. But human love in so many situations is confined to a feeling, where
yeah.
if you are living in the energy of it and the vibration of it, it's a whole different thing. So,
It is a totally different story, actually.
yeah,
And there are all like the part where it says unveiled. Yeah, there are always parts that are coming up. But
always.
when fear is not present, um, there's nothing to fear. It's just to see what is this? Is it triggering something? Is me? Is it a good feeling? What is it?
Yes,
And also with human beings, and the human love that usually comes with condition. So if you don't do what they want you to do, they can say, I don't like you anymore, right?
exactly, exactly.
And that part doesn't bother me. It doesn't mean that I have an attitude. No, I'm not. I'm very humble. But it doesn't. It's like when you pour water on a goose, it's sliding off.
Yes. Um, you can tell I watch a lot of television, but I learn a lot from it. There is a movie out, and the woman goes to Africa after her divorce, and ends up on a reserve where they save elephants. And she received her divorce papers, and the man in the picture says, one thing about elephants is they love unconditionally, and they will love you always and never leave you. And she says, I think I'm with the wrong species. And and this is true. uh, Animals love unconditionally. I
They
mean,
do.
if they're mistreated, they're going to be fearful, and they're going to be, want to stay away from you. But when an animal is loved, you can forget for an hour that it's past their feeding time, and they'll just kind of look at you, but they don't stop loving you. They don't stop loving you if you gain weight. They don't stop loving you if you change your hairstyle. There are no conditions. It's just pure, I am here. And um, and I think that's the beauty of when you get to a point where you realize that you are connected to that divine, where you
Yes.
are connected to your authentic self, um, everything that happens around you and outside of you, it's just the movie going on. It is not about you. And
No, it's not. It's not, actually.
yeah. Well,
Beautifully said.
can I turn the burners off that are underneath my seat now?
Yes,
And
yes, 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 yes. You can relax.
whoa, you are amazing. I uh, and you know, it's interesting. I don't look at the questions before you start asking them. I don't even have because I want them to be, you know, completely candid, and and they are.
They are. So
Oh,
you managed the hot seat for today, right? Good.
I
And
think so. I've got both buns burning. Thank you very
and
much.
also thank you. And also these questions are for you who are listening and watching this because it's nice to, not nice, wrong word. It's a very good thing to question things within yourself. Pay attention to things. How are
Yes.
you experiencing these things? So dig into the questions and be honest, right?
Yeah.
Are we
Yes.
ready to wrap it up?
I think we are, dear sister.
So here we go. You can find upcoming and past episodes at youtube.com/at angelplaceonearth/streams and angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. You can find our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series-cosmic-guardians. And you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, and find how to connect with Karine and myself at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. Thank you for joining us on Unveiling the Sacred. As we close this sacred space, may the whispers of the divine continue to echo through your heart, guiding you gently toward deeper truth, connection, and remembrance. This journey into the heart of the sacred is never truly over. It unfolds moment by moment, breath by breath, as we learn to listen, trust, and embody the light we carry within. You are sacred, you are seen, you are part of something vast and beautiful. And we have a beautiful affirmation for you. I am a vessel of divine light. I trust the rhythm of my soul. I unveil the sacred within me and walk gently in the truth of who I am.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
beautiful. And until next time, may you walk with grace, speak with love, and unveil the divine within all that you do. Flow on, beautiful souls. The universe is smiling through you. With infinite love, peace, and joy, we see you, we hear you, we honor you, and we appreciate you. Your cosmic companions, cosmic sisters, Karina and Ann.
That's beautiful. That is
Do
so
you want
well
to add?
said. I am just going to sit here in blissful silence because that was beautifully said, and I love the affirmation. And thank you for your being you, and thank all of
Thank
you
you.
for embarking on this journey. And love.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.